Hi, and welcome to Gardening Time. Today I am going to be talking about the Kratky method. This is a follow-up video to the one I did a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to show you how my plants are progressing and also show you a little bit of a hack that I discovered on how to grow a head of lettuce in half the time using the Kratky method. So first, let's go ahead and let me show you one of the heads of lettuce that I currently have growing. So this is a mason jar, basically filled with hydroponic solution, fertilizer in some water, hydroponic cup with some pebbles, and your leafy green. So in this case, I'm using lettuce, and this lettuce variety that I currently have growing is called Merville des Quatre Stations. You can use any lettuce you want. I chose this one. I got this one off of Baker's Creek. After just reading some of the reviews and comments about it, I thought, yeah, I'd give it a try, and I'm really happy I did. It's actually really delicious, and it's beautiful too. It's a bicolor leaf, so it's green, and it's got like blush marks of like a dark burgundy color on the tips. So this lettuce head that I currently have in here, this one I've been growing for probably going on a little over 2 months. Yeah, probably actually more like closer to 3 months. So I've already harvested off of this one a couple of times. The last time I harvested, I waited basically until the plant fully matured. Prior to that, I was just kind of taking off a few of the leaves off my plants in order to get enough to make a salad, but then I laid off and decided to let them come to full maturity and then harvest from there. So when I harvested this last time, I basically just left a few of the inner leaves and harvested all the exterior. And within a couple of weeks, I've already got a really nice plant that's coming back. I wanted to show you the root system. So as you can see there, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's got quite a bit of an extensive root system going on here. I have noticed that once the plants mature, and then you allow them, then you, without replacing them, you just allow them to continue to grow. Because their root systems are a lot more developed, you do have to refill the jars a lot more frequently. So you just want to keep an eye on them as they, if you're going to grow the plants and you want to continue to grow them continuously instead of replacing them every time they mature with a fresh seedling, then you'll just have to make sure you at least check the jar. I would say at least once a week. Okay, so now moving on to this hack that I found. As I was waiting on my lettuces to mature, I wanted to make a salad, and so went to the store and I found this head of lettuce, and I've seen these. They sell them at most grocery stores. I got this one at Walmart, but most grocery stores, I do believe, will sell these. This is a head of lettuce that has been grown hydroponically, and they left the root ball on the plant. And they do that to keep the plant as fresh as possible up until the time that you're ready to prepare it. So what I did when I got the head of lettuce like this, after I took most of the leaves off, I thought, well, I've got these heads of lettuce right now growing, and I'm using, this new method that I've discovered. And I thought, well, let me try growing this you know, putting the root ball with a few of the baby leaves in a jar and see if it will grow. So let me show you what I've got here. This is basically this after just a couple of weeks from being almost completely stripped down to nothing, and put in one of these mason jars. And I can show you the root system. The root system on this one, that plant seems like it has a lot more roots attached to it, so the growth actually might be better on that one. But this one, when I got it, you couldn't really see hardly any roots on the little plug that it was attached to. But after just 2 weeks, there's already roots that have extended down into the reserve and are sucking up the water, and it seems to be doing, I mean, absolutely fantastic. So yeah, so rather than having to start from scratch and grow a little seedling, then put it in a plug and, you know, get it into one of these containers, it was a lot easier to just take a plug with a fully mature lettuce plant and put that together and have that grow. And I mean, honestly, I'd say give this thing another, week to 2 weeks. I mean, you can, like I said, you can harvest from it now, but if you want to wait until it gets more like, you know, this size here, then it's probably going to take it maybe a couple of more weeks versus one of these plants, starting one of these from scratch, they take a lot longer to grow. I'd say probably, from start to finish, probably you're looking at a good 2 months. So within 1 month, I'm going to have another whole head of lettuce. So let me show you, I've got all the stuff here. I'm going to go ahead and strip this new one that I have, take the leaves off. Sometimes it's easier when you actually watch somebody as they're doing something than just to have somebody explain it. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you from start to finish what I did to get that going in the mason jar. So you're basically just stripping off all of the outer leaves, and I'm going to obviously wash these before we eat them, but I'm going to take them off. Whoops. Okay. So there's the little plug you can see, and I left a few of the leaves, the smallest leaves in the center intact. And the rest of these, I'm going to be making a salad for dinner tonight. And so with this one, see, this one was interesting because it had a lot more, yeah, look at that root system. It's going to be interesting to see how this one does compared to the other head that I grew, because the other head didn't have all these extra roots in it. In fact, I'm thinking I'm probably going to need to cut, I'm going to need to cut these off because I'm not going to be able to get them through my hydroponics cup. So give me a second here. Okay, so now that we just have our lettuce plug with just the innermost leaves left on. And you can see I went ahead and I cut off some of the longer roots. So I'm going to go ahead and get the jar prepared. So I just have a wide mouth quart-sized jar. And to that, I'm going to add some hydroponics fertilizer. And what I'm using, and you don't have to use this brand, this is just what I found and I'm currently using at this time. So I am using the Humboldt Secret. I think the important thing to note if looking for a fertilizer, liquid fertilizer to use, you want to find a fertilizer that has a base A and a base B to it, and they are separated. So you've got your macro and you've got your micronutrients, but they come in separate containers. I'm also, with this system, it was suggested that I get some of this golden tree fertilizer as well. So I'm adding a little bit of that as well to my solution. So I've got basically, it's just 2 teaspoons of each the A and B solution, and then, you know, like a half a teaspoon of the golden tree is what I'm using. So I'm going to go ahead and fill my mason jar with some of this hydroponic solution. Okay. Now it's important that you don't want to fill up the mason jar all the way up to the top, because this is a form of hydroponics. You have to get air to the roots, and because we're not, the cool thing with the Kratky method is it doesn't use any electricity, so you don't have to worry about pumps or aerators or anything like that. But to get air to the roots, what you have to do is you have to leave an air gap in between the top of the plug and to the bottom of the plug. There has to be an air gap because the roots have to be able to get air, access to air. So I left about an inch, it's roughly about an inch gap between the water line to the first rim of this mason jar. So to that, I'm going to go ahead and add, this is a hydroponics cup. It's 3 inches in diameter, and they fit perfect on top, right inside of a mason jar. So I'm going to go ahead and plop that in, and as you can see from the photo, the cup actually goes a little bit below the water line by probably like 1/4 of an inch. That is important, and I'll get to the reason of why that's important. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and add a few of these hydroponic pebbles, or also called clay pebbles. I'm going to put some of those at the bottom of this cup, and the reason I'm doing that is because of I want the top of my plug to be close to the top of the rim, so that when the new leaves come out, they're coming out above the rim of the plant. You don't have to do that. It's just something that, you know, I do. I just prefer that. So I'm just kind of adding some pebbles and kind of eyeballing when it looks pretty good, which is about right there. And then what I'm going to do to get this plant so it's stationary and not flopping all around, I'm going to go ahead and add some pebbles around the side of my plant. All right. Now the other thing that these pebbles do is they also act as a wick. So you want to make sure that you get them on all sides of the the little root ball, the little plug that you're using. So because they will actually help to wick up moisture from the bottom to get it up to the top of the root ball as well. So, all right. So that's pretty good. Plant's not flopping around. I've got the hydroponic pebbles all around it. And that is basically it. That's basically all there is to getting this set up. And you can set this by a sunny window. You don't have to set it under grow lights. I have some grow lights set up in the back bedroom, so I do have mine under grow lights. And these could also be set outside on a table. You know, if you live in a milder climate, or, you know, for me, once things start to get warmer outside, I am going to be setting mine outside as well. The only other thing that I would suggest, and that they suggest doing with the Kratky method, is if you're using mason jars, you want to somehow cover the jar to keep it dark, to keep light from penetrating inside, because what will happen is you'll end up getting algae growing on the sides of the jar. So a quick little hack that I discovered on that is these no-show socks. They fit perfectly over these jars. And let me show you. Without making a mess. Here we go. So the hardest part is just to get it started, but once you get the sock started around the jar, then it's just a matter of just sliding it up, sliding the sock all the way up the jar. And so that's it. And I found that it's enough to keep the light out. It's also great because it allows you can just slide the sock down if you want to check on the roots, see how the roots are doing, see how what the water level is like, and then you can just slide it right back up in place when you're done. And it looks nice. So that's it, guys. If you guys have used or worked at all with the Kratky system, I'd love to hear your comments. I'm new to this whole setup, so this is still a new experience for me. I decided to go ahead and vlog about it to show you my experiences with it and what I'm doing with it. But I would love it to hear what you guys are doing with it, or what your experiences have been with it. If you would love to share, or if you could share some of that in the comments, that would be great. Other than that, guys, hope you guys are having a blessed day, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.